more children die from preventable accidental injuries than all diseases combined.
Welcome to Transforming the Toddler Years, a Core 4 parenting podcast for conscious, cycle-breaking parents ready to turn toddler tantrums into teachable moments. Hi, I'm Cara Tyrrell, a lifetime lover of littles, mom to 2 grown and flown girls, and an early childhood educator. Through the show, I teach you my collaborative parenting methodology for nurturing your little human's mind, body, and spirit. Because how you connect and collaborate in the first 5 years is how you raise happy, healthy kids who grow into the best version of themselves and find true success in school and life. Do you worry about keeping your kids safe in this ever-changing world? I get it. This episode is for you, and it's why I brought Erica here from Little Iguana's Children's Safety Foundation. They're a 501c3 whose mission is to help prevent child abuse, abduction, and preventable injuries. She has some incredible statistics and resources that she shares with us in this episode about stranger danger, tricky people, and how to help your kids have the words they need to say that they need help. Their programming has over 20 safety and well-being lessons, and it empowers your kids to make safe choices, develop critical thinking skills, and build resilience in the face of potential risks, mostly through a musical curriculum. Really cool stuff. Enjoy this episode. Take action and help your kids help themselves be safe in the world. Erica, we are here to talk all about stranger danger and tricky people. You are here from Little Iguana, and you have 20 years of experience helping kids be so proactive and keep themselves safe in the world. Welcome.
Thank you so much. And we're actually celebrating our 30th anniversary this year. So it's even longer of a program that you think.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I did not realize that.
Yeah, so we were founded in 1994, and it's a nonprofit foundation, and we're all about empowering and educating kids to be safe, happy, healthy, and kind through music-based programs and resources. So our target audience is children ages 2 through 10 plus. We have a lot of our programs are music driven, and then some of our in-person programming actually features a costume character, Little Iguana. So we say 10 because, after about 8, 9, they're too cool for school. And that mascot, isn't really talking to them anymore. So that's why we have our great digital resources and programs for parents as well.
Amazing. So thank you so much for clarifying the decade there. Let's start right there, because the decades change. And with that, society evolves as well. 30 years ago, stranger danger was important, but often saying to your kids, don't take candy from strangers was kind of enough. Nowadays, it has not. What has shifted culturally? What is the danger that is so different and we need to be aware of?
Absolutely. So the foundation, like I said, was founded in 1994. And at that time, we had maybe 5 or 6 core lessons that we taught, like stranger danger, listening to your inner voice and empowering your inner voice as a child, buckling up your seatbelt, looking left, right, and left again before you cross the street. Those things are like timeless. You have to know those things. But some things that we've, adapted in our program and that we've added are like internet safety or online safety. In 1994, not a lot of kids had access to the internet, and they definitely didn't have a smartphone in their hand. Even, I know your audience is much younger, but I mean, even some kids that we're seeing in elementary schools are using a smartphone in school or at home, so we really, really, really need to talk about online safety. Also, social emotional learning, that is the basis for all learning, because if you can't calm yourself enough to listen and engage in the classroom or at home, you're not going to be able to learn any of the lessons that we're going to be teaching. So, our program, like kindness, social emotional learning, those things, of course, were important, 30 years ago, but they're even more important now. So that is the shift that we've been seeing in the last, decade or so. And now we've evolved to have over 20 safety and well-being topics that we teach. So buckle up your seatbelt, stranger danger, get permission, listening to your inner voice, looking both ways before you cross the street, wearing your bike helmet, what to do when you're home alone. Like, how do you, what rules do you have to follow and how do you have to act? So all of those things, we've evolved over the last 30 years.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Amen, by the way. A huge teacher amen to the social emotional regulation is the learning platform for everything. And I've heard you say so many things already. I just want to dive into. One of them is about music. I am a huge lover of music. So just for frame of reference here, I graduated high school in 1994.
Mm-hmm.
So,
okay.
And I was a product of the whole language movement. My parents are both educators. They brought their musical instruments into the classroom, and that was one of their strategies for helping kids absorb information better. How does listening to information through melody impact the brain differently than just being talked at?
Absolutely. So that is why we actually teach through music. It is the most effective tool to teach children or anyone. So you're thinking back to 1994 when you were in high school, what songs were playing on the radio when you were in high school? If one came on right now, you could sing the words to every song, most likely, if you really like that song. Think about what you were learning in high school. I don't even know if you can remember, but you definitely can't recite that book or that talk the way that you did the song that you heard. So that is why we teach through music. It is the most effective teaching method. And then also now, again, going back to 30 years, play learning, that is like such an important part in learning because you're not even realizing that you're learning. So we integrate play learning into most of our programming and resources, and then interactive role playing, demonstrations, repetition. All of these teaching tools are things that we use because we know their effectiveness for teaching young children and anyone.
Oh, I just love that this kind of whole human perspective is coming back, that we're realizing that there was a gap between the outcome we were trying to achieve for safety for our kids and the methods that we were using.
Absolutely.
So in your mission, I read that there's 3 major outcomes that you really work to prevent: child abuse, abduction, and preventable accidents. I would love to hear more about this. And, you've told us a little bit about how you do this early confidence boosting and learning, but why are those 3 top missions?
Sure. So I don't know if you know this. I didn't know this before, starting at Iguana. More children die from preventable accidental injuries than all diseases combined. And what is a preventable accidental injury? That is falling off your bike and not wearing a bike helmet and having some kind of head injury, not looking left, right, and left again before you cross the street and, something happening in the road, not wearing your seatbelt and getting into a car accident, or goofing around in the back seat on the school bus and distracting the driver. So those are preventable accidental injuries. Again, like water safety, all of the things that we teach through our programs and resources. So we read that statistic, so many years ago, all diseases combined. So if we combine every childhood disease, more children die from preventable accidental injuries. So that is why we strive to prevent accidental injuries. So we're teaching water safety. You need to get permission from the adult in charge before going in or near the water. So we're trying to prevent drowning or accident-related injuries of, being around the water and not knowing how to swim. Looking left, right, and left again, school bus safety, buckle up your seatbelt, all of these things, that is what we're really striving for. And with, preventing child abuse, preventing abduction, preventing trafficking, we're telling children that they need to get permission before they go with a person. And if they don't have permission, that person is considered a stranger. And if that person tries to get them to go with them, they need to run, 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 yell, and tell. So they need to run away. They need to yell things and not things like, because kids yell all the time and grownups like us, sometimes we don't listen. So they need to say things like, this is not my mom. This person is trying to take me. I need help, things like that. And then they need to tell someone immediately, an adult in charge. They need to go into a store and they need to tell someone, they need to knock on someone's door. They need to figure out a way to tell what just happened.
Wow. What an important distinction. As a teacher, I can tell you that out on the playground, there were all different levels of yell. And, it was kind of my instinctual job to figure out which ones were happy and fun and playful, and which ones were, oh, he just took my toy, and which ones were, I just skinned my knee.
Yes.
But no, as a general population, we should not be responsible for that. That empowering kids with the actual words to say out loud. And that is self-advocacy is something that kids need to learn at a young age, that they have a voice, that their voice has power. And when they use it appropriately, they will be listened to.
Absolutely. It's all about helping those kiddos find the correct language to express themselves and their feelings. And it doesn't have to be so heavy when they're younger, but it is talking about, how did you feel today? How do you feel today? And it goes from sad and angry and mad to anxious and uncomfortable and pressured. Those are words that hopefully develop later down the road, but expressing feelings at a young age is so important.
Oh my goodness. I'm obsessed with that. One of the things that I run around saying, and people are probably tired of hearing me say it, is kids don't just have three emotions. They're not just happy, mad, and sad.
Yes.
They have a depth and a range of emotions just like we do. We are just not great at giving them the emotional vocabulary that aligns with it so that they can start to put the pieces together.
Absolutely.
So the fact that you are doing that, and what does anxious feel like versus pressure?
And what does it look like also? So we actually at Little Iguana, we have a product called a feelings calendar, and it has over 20 emotions on it. It has pictures of those emotions so that you can see what the word is, see how it looks, and how you may feel when you're experiencing that. And then we also have, and it's a calendar so that you can fill in your emotion each day. And then it works as a great conversation starter for parents as well, because they can see patterns. Oh, every Tuesday you're anxious. What do we do on Tuesdays? Why would you be anxious every Tuesday? And then you could start that conversation.
Wow. The weaving together of that long goal with this current practice, that's just so beautiful. You know that parenting is a job, a job, and it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to know what you don't know. And that's what I'm here for. My Transforming the Toddler Years course is currently closed, but I am accepting one-on-one clients who are looking to make massive transformation inside their home. If you're feeling overwhelmed, disconnected, and that you're in survival mode all day, every day, but you wake up determined to be intentional, calm, and connected so that you can help your child thrive, I can help. Schedule a complimentary connection call with the link in the show notes to share your parenting journey and your current struggles. Let's see how we can work together to help you transform the toddler years. Okay, so one of the questions that I get the absolute most is, how do I know if the person is actually a stranger? This is from parents. So,
Sure.
I have clients who say, is our neighbor a stranger? Is my friend a stranger to my child? Or because I trust them, should my child inherently trust them? How do you help parents understand how to talk to their kids about the different designations of how people fit into their lives?
Absolutely. So we have it down to a science or a model, or explain to me like I'm 5, however you want to, say it. Anyone is a stranger if you do not have permission to go with them from the adult in charge. So is your next door neighbor a stranger? Well, you see Mrs. Jones every day. When you come home from school, you and your mom wave to her. Sometimes you might go over her house. Sometimes you might play in the front yard with her. One day Mrs. Jones says, do you want to come inside and hang out? Well, you just have to get permission first. And what is permission? Permission is looking your mom or dad or whoever's in charge right in the eyeballs. And we say eyeballs because it's a funny word and kids are going to remember that. They need to ask if they can do something or go somewhere. And then they need to get a yes. And if they get a yes, that means they got permission. So permission is eyeballs, ask, yes. 3 simple steps. And then if you don't have permission to go, that person is considered a stranger. So it eliminates tricky people, tricky behavior, strange behavior. Does that person, your friend, does your child have permission to go with your friend? No, that person's considered a stranger right then and there. So the next time they want to go with that person, they need to get permission. Do they have permission? Yes, they can go, no problem. So it's all about getting permission before you go, whether you know the person or you don't know the person. They could be a bad person. They could be a good person. We don't know. We have to get permission from the adult in charge before we go with that person.
I even really like thinking about this within a household. So say we're having a dinner party and, we have friends over and the friend asks my kid, do you want to go to the living room with me to play trains? Right? Mm-hmm. They're not leaving the house, but practicing the permission asking while inside that safe space really sets these kids up to feel confident to do it in other settings.
Absolutely. And I know that you mentioned, I trust my friend. Should my child also trust my friend? Your friend may be an amazing person. I'm not going to use your friend as an example, but we know that the majority of abductions take place from someone that the child knows. So it can't be that we trust that person. It has to be that we have to get permission from the adult in charge first, because it can't be emotions and it can't be, well, maybe sometimes. We have to take the guesswork out of it. We have to explain it like they're 5. Do you have permission? Yes or no? Yes, you can go. No, you cannot go. And if you don't have permission and that person tries to get you to go with them, that's when you need to run, yell and tell.
Oh, and you know what? You're talking to people who are talking to 5-year-olds
yes.
and under. So this is ideal.
Yes.
Yeah. And the repetition, start young. We do this over and over and over. It will become the operating system that these kids work within.
I know a lot of parents also come to us and say, it's okay, I don't need to talk about permission because I have a password system. And I just want to talk quickly about that because while a password system might seem amazing in thoughts, it's not great in reality and in practice, because you and your child need to come up with a password that both of you are going to remember. So right there, it's like, oh my gosh, what am I going to remember? What is my child definitely going to remember? And then you give that password to someone in some instance where they need to tell your child that password. So in reality, you need to change that password each time you're giving it out to a new person. And then your child needs to remember that new password. And you need to remember that new password. That is also very important. And then, are you going to remember that new password? That person now knows your old password, so you definitely need a new one. And then how are you going to use that again? And then it just gets very messy very quickly, especially if you're giving out that password constantly. A child needs to consistently remember this new password that you're doing. So a password system is just yucky, we think. And we really need to just talk about permission.
It also sounds like for the younger group, that would just be too high level in any case. Let's just start with the plan and move forward with it. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. That's super helpful. I would not have thought to ask about password systems.
Yeah.
So one of the questions I do get, particularly right now, it's a very big buzzword, is tricky people. I actually have to say that I don't know that I'm fully educated on it. Is it just another word for stranger, or is there more to it?
People are trying to make that the new word for stranger, because when we hear the word stranger, we think like person in a trench coat who's like opening a door to a van and is trying to get you to go in. That's what I think of when I hear the word stranger. So, and it's hard to teach who a stranger is to a child. So the new word tricky person is, are they trying to play a trick on you? Are they trying to do something that you know that you shouldn't be doing? Or is it more like they're acting kind of weird? We hear strange behavior as well. So is it someone that you know that is acting kind of weird today? And we just try to take it like back to the basics. Take the guesswork out for kids. Are they acting weird today? Are they trying to get me to do something I shouldn't be doing? Instead of like going through all those levels and layers of guessing, do I have permission to go with that person? Do I have permission to do the thing that I'm going to be doing? Yes. Awesome. No, I cannot go. I cannot do that thing. So just make it yes or no. Do I have permission?
Yeah. That's it. Just keeps coming back to that, right?
Yeah.
So this is an interesting idea for me because inside school systems, there's a lot of new people that enter kids' life on an annual basis, with the exception of teachers who loop, right? They get their kids for 2 years at a time or something like that. You've got to build new relationships and you've got to experience other people and how they interact. Not everyone's the same. So what if a child is continually talking about someone and their kind of strange behavior, but it's just because they don't really understand them yet? Do you have resources for parents to have conversations with kids to kind of vet out what's going on as opposed to immediately jumping to, I need to take some immediate action?
Absolutely. And that goes back to listening to your inner voice. And what we call that is your harm alarm. So do you have a weird feeling inside? Like you have a gut feeling or you have something weird going on in your tummy and you're not really sure what that feeling is? You just need to share that with your mom or dad or with the adult in charge. And you need to talk through those feelings so that you can understand exactly what's going on. So it doesn't mean that it's a bad feeling. It just means that there needs to be some conversation that's had around it. And you need to talk about those feelings so that you know how to react in that situation moving forward.
Yeah. And another running theme here that I hear, and it's just everywhere here at Core 4 Parenting, is the open communication channel. And that takes trust. Kids have to trust that if they open up and share something with you, mom, dad, grandma, teacher, special educator, foster parent, whoever you are, if they are brave enough to say out loud, I have something to tell you, you need to hit full stop and give them all your attention.
Because you want them to come back to you again. You want them to share those feelings and those conversations again. So definitely need to give them your full attention, because whether it's just something funny that happened at school or it might be something more serious, I think that open communication, like you mentioned, is so important so that a child feels heard and understood and they feel comfortable and confident going forward and sharing those feelings.
So, Erica, I know that a lot of your resources are for empowering the kids, for giving them the skill sets and kind of developing that inner character that they need to be successful. Parents
they need help too.
They need help too. So one of the things we talk a lot about here is hijacking our knee-jerk reactions and choosing our responses intentionally. If a child is sharing something that seems safety issue, we immediately want to solve it. We immediately want to jump in and react and fix it. It's my job to keep you safe. I will protect you at all costs. How do you talk to parents about taking that deep breath and that step in between to really make sure that when they talk back to that kid, they're not actually just feeding the cycle? They're actually getting the information that they really need.
Absolutely. So we host workshops for parents and give them exact language and scripts. And we go through role-playing scenarios. We have like scripts that you can download related to each lesson and just like different role-playing scenarios. You talk to your child with an open-ended question, and these are some of the conversations that you may have. And these are some of the things that you may want to say to them based on those specific lessons. So I think it's important that just as much as children have the language that they need to express their feelings, parents also have the language they need to relate to their children and to relate those lessons like at their age level, because we have the knowledge, we know, but how exactly do we teach it to someone who's so young?
Exactly. Oh my gosh. What a wonderful service. I also have to shout you all out because I love when I get to host another New England company on the show. Pretty rare that Vermont and New Hampshire show up here. So thank you for this beautiful work that you and the entire company are doing to help kids keep safe. So if parents want to take some action and get proactive about this right now, how can they get started?
Absolutely. So you can follow us on social media at Lil Iguana Safety. We have like safety tips of the week, different videos, instructional videos, animated music videos that you can watch with your kiddos. Or I'm not saying that this ever happens, but maybe put on a tablet that your child's watching on their own. And then we have different educational resources and worksheets and printables. We have activity boxes that can be shipped to your house. So once a month, you're going to be talking about a different safety and well-being theme. We have a digital membership that parents can join called Safety Up, and that has an online resource library with access to hundreds of ready-to-use printables, worksheets, crafts, activities, all related to our 20 safety and well-being topics that we teach. And then it also has a monthly action plan. So if you don't want to do anything other than get an action plan once a month sent to your inbox of a lesson that you can cover and how exactly you're going to teach it based on your child's age. We have that, and then a supportive Facebook community, Raising Safe Kids. That's us, and we're here to help you every step of the way. No matter where you are, YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, we're there. So come join us.
Wow. One of the things that I feel really passionate about, and I recently heard Brene Brown talk on this, is family first decision making. And that means once a month having a family meeting. And it's not a bad thing. It's not a negative thing. You're not coming together to solve a problem. You're just having that family reset. What an awesome time of month to do your plan and go through it and just know what people are thinking and talking about. So I know that you have been kind enough that if anybody signs up with the link in the show notes from this episode, they get their first month free.
Yes.
That's amazing. Thank you, Erica. What an amazing gift. All right. So parents out there, from the minute they were born, all you wanted was to keep them safe. It was like this magic shell that came over you and you were like, this is kind of my only job in life now, to protect my child. Here's an amazing opportunity for you to take action steps to help them protect themselves. Again, Erica, thank you for your expertise and your time. We're so grateful.
Thank you so much for having us.
And until the next episode of our podcast, please stay mindful and proactive as we transform the toddler years.